So are you looking for one of the most calming, smoothest, kind of youthful fougères on the market? Well, Nishane's B-612 might be the fragrance for you. Hey, what's going on guys? Hunter here and welcome back to my channel. And if you are new, what I do is I make fragrance related content. So if you love fragrances, go to smash the subscribe button down below. But that's right guys, I have a brand new fougère to my collection, which of course is Nishane's B-612. Now B-612 has gotten a ton of hype within the Nishane line. Now, to be honest with you guys, this is actually my first from the house. And man, I was so excited to actually get this fragrance in because quite a few of my subscribers have mentioned this as being one of the best fougères money can buy. When I did a poll and stuff, this came up quite a few times. So when I first got this in, guys, I could not wait to get my nose on it, but we'll talk about how this fragrance actually smells and if I like it or not. Before that, I do want to mention that B-612 was sent out for review by the guys over at So Avant-Garde, who is actually a distributor for some designer fragrances and niche fragrances. They have a huge catalog and their shipping is extremely fast. Now, if you want to pick up B-612 or any other fragrance from the website, use code FragHunter15 for an additional 15% off your entire order, no matter what fragrance you actually purchase, which is awesome. So definitely check them out. I'll leave their link down below. All right, so let's go over some information about B-612. Now, this fragrance was actually launched in 2018. It does come in the 50 ml bottle only. You can only get it in this side, unlike other Nishanes, which you can get in 100 ml. I'm not sure exactly why they did that, but that is the case. And the retail for the 50 ml bottle is $235. So it is pretty expensive, but it's not outrageous like a lot of other fragrances. And especially for the quality and the concentration you're getting with B-612, it might be worth it, but we'll talk about that later. Now, the perfumer behind B-612 is actually Chris Maurice. Now, to be honest with you guys, I'm not sure about his resume. I haven't really heard about him, any fragrances that he actually created besides B-612. But with all that information out of the way, let's go ahead and look at the packaging and presentation you will get with this fragrance. So looking at the box, it is actually extremely high quality. It kind of has like a navy blue kind of tint to it. Of course, B-612 Nishane, and like I said, it is an extrait de parfum, so the highest of concentrations, which is awesome. On the back, you do just have some of your information. You have your barcode and batch code to authenticate your product and see when your product was produced. And then on this side, you do have the stars and the Nishane logo as well right there. Now this is actually a sleeve, so let's go ahead and look at what you get when the sleeve is off. All right, so once you get that sleeve off, it is a drawer tab right here to pull it open, and you are greeted with an envelope. So let's take a look at this envelope really quick. So in the envelope, I'm not sure if it's like this for all Nishane since this is the only one I have, but it does give you a card kind of with a artwork of what the fragrance represents and what the inspiration was. If you didn't know, B-612 is actually inspired by the novel, The Little Prince, which is a very popular novel, but we'll talk a little bit more about that when we talk about the scent profile. And then you have your top heart notes and base notes listed down below. And on the back, it's kind of like a postcard there, which is pretty awesome to be honest with you. And then you are presented where your bottle will pretty much be housed with this layout right there. I love the attention to detail with Nishane and what they did with this fragrance. It's absolutely stunning. Now, looking at the bottle, guys, this bottle just stands out so much on anybody's fragrance shelf. Just look at this plaque you have right here with the blue and the stars, of course, representing the Little Prince. And then if you guys didn't know, down here is actually all the notes listed very tiny, which is kind of like hidden. A lot of people may not know that, but they all are right there. Lion, which I'm not sure exactly what that means. It may be where the fragrance is actually from. I think it may be in Turkey, if I'm not mistaken. B-612, on the top, you do have Nishane. And then on the back, you do have the Nishane logo behind the plaque, which is a nice detail. And then on the bottom, you do have your sticker with your information and your batch code as well. Now this cap, guys, this cap is extremely weighted. Very nice. It feels luxurious to touch and feel. Very hefty. Nothing inside the cap, nothing on the atomizer, but the cap does not click into place. It is held on by friction, but What's actually interesting is pretty much when you first put the cap on, it's very, very loose, but after it sits for like a minute or two, it becomes very snug, which I'm not sure exactly what it's doing, but for my bottle, guys, that's exactly what's going on. So that's pretty interesting, but that is the packaging and presentation for B-612. In the top, you have cypress, lavender, and geranium. In the middle, you have cashmere, sandalwood, cedar, and patchouli. And in the base, you have musk, oak moss, and tonka bean. So looking at that note breakdown with the cypress, the lavender, the oak moss, patchouli, that is definitely going to be a fougere. But to be honest with you guys, this is a very unique fougere. I've never smelled anything quite like it. So let's go ahead and spread this on my test strip and test out the atomizer here. Very nice distribution. It's not pressurized, but it does spray out quite a bit of juice. So no complaints, guys. Which is a good thing because this stuff is extremely potent being an extrait de parfum. But what you're going to get, especially on initial blast with B-612, in the opening, you are going to get the smoothest lavender I've ever got my nose on with any fougere or any fragrance in general, which I have to give props to Nishane with the quality of this fragrance, guys. It is definitely top tier when it comes to that lavender note. Extremely, extremely smooth, almost as smooth as butter, guys. It's just so pleasant to the nose. There's nothing harsh about this fragrance whatsoever. Now, alongside the lavender, you of course have that cypress note, which makes it very green. It almost has a very herbal kind of touch to it and a little bit medicinal as well. But what really stands this fougere apart from others is that cashmere, guys. Now, to be honest with you guys, when I first got this fragrance in, I was not really excited about it. It didn't really meet my expectations from everything I've heard from all my subscribers and viewers talking about. I was like, wow, this is what they've been hyping up as the best fougere. I just did not get it at first. And after actually looking into the story and what it's actually based off of, the little print, it makes 100% sense now, guys. I understand this fragrance. It definitely fits exactly what they're going off of. Now, if you don't know, the Little Prince novel is actually, I think, a little boy who went to space and like his imagination, something like that. I've never read the novel, but I did look into it in the story and pictures and stuff like that about the book. Now, it makes, like I said, complete sense to me now, guys. And after knowing that, I absolutely enjoy this fragrance so much more. But of course, we'll talk about why. Now, with that cashmere, and what sets this fougere apart from any other fougere, is it gives it a very fluffy, almost cloud-like, comforting, warming blanket kind of vibe with this. Now, of course, it does have a very youthful nature to it because it's supposed to kind of like bring you back to your childhood. Like when I smell this, I almost feel like a kid again, guys, like all cozied up in like a cashmere blanket, warm, and just like in my imagination. That's exactly what this fragrance is to me. Very calming, very comforting. I think that's just awesome because when you think of fougères, you think of old school, you think of mature, you think of very, very masculine, almost kind of dirty sometimes. And no, that is not what this fragrance is. There's nothing dirty about it. There's nothing old school about this at all, guys. Anyone can wear this. If you're a young guy and you're kind of scared of fougères or barbershop fragrance, do not be with B-612. This is absolutely a signature worthy fragrance without a doubt. Now, would I say it's my favorite fougere? Absolutely not. This is not my favorite fougere, but it is very solid for exactly what it's going for, guys. I absolutely love this one. Now, to be honest with you, if you actually get a sample of this or you end up buying it, you have to test it on skin besides like a test strip. Even when you're testing it on skin, guys, it smells so much better with the sillage and the projection when you're walking around and stuff in the air. It smells 100% better than just up close on your skin because, like I said, it has a very medicinal vibe close up to the skin, which is a little bit strange. But yeah, it smells incredible walking around in the air, and that's what everyone else is gonna smell on you, and that's pretty much the most important thing. No one's gonna come up to you and just smell your skin like this up close. They're gonna smell you when you passing by them, and they're gonna like look and whoa, that sillage smells great. Now, I actually do have the dry down here that's been pretty much sitting for a day, guys. I actually sprayed this last night. So almost 24 hours, this has been sitting, and it still is very, very strong. Like when I walked into my room with this sitting here by itself, I could still smell it right when I walk into the door, guys. It's extremely, extremely strong for a fougere, which, I mean, I guess fougeres are strong in and of itself, but this stuff here easily lasts 12 plus hours on skin, without a doubt. No complaints with the performance, but we'll talk a little bit more in depth about that, but just letting you guys know. Now, on the dry down of B-612, you are gonna get a nice clean kind of white musk alongside oak moss and a creamy tonka bean, guys. Now, this fragrance is also very, very kind of creamy, almost powdery as well, coming from, of course, the sandalwood, the tonka bean, and that cashmere. Now, of course, it does have like cedar and patchouli. I don't really get that much of a woodiness or an earthiness from the patchouli, which patchouli is very, very distinctive. And when you smell patchouli, you know it's patchouli. Now, I don't really get a lot of it in this. It may be there as a supporting back note, but not dominant whatsoever. Pretty much the most dominant notes is, of course, the lavender, the cypress, and the cashmere is the three most dominant notes within B-612. It's just crazy to me because obviously B-612 for me was not a love at first sniff. Definitely not a love at first sniff, but it's crazy once you understand the story behind a fragrance, how it changes your mind. It blows my mind how that works, how this is supposed to be like a interpretation of The Little Prince, and then once you think that, then you understand this composition without a doubt and exactly how it's supposed to smell. And if you don't know, B-612 is actually, I think, an asteroid that he travels in, something along those lines. So it may kind of have to smell like B-612, the asteroid. Maybe that's what they were also going for. But for me, I just think of being like a little kid, like a little prince, all like safe and cozy and just warm at home. That's the kind of vibe I get with this fragrance. So it definitely does kind of take you back to like your childhood and just imagination, which I just love. Now let's talk about age groups for B-612. This is definitely more youthful than mature. For a fougere, if you just love fougères and you're gonna expect like dirty, rough, rugged, kind of masculine, this is not that. It's a very different kind of modern, very, very modern, not kind of modern, extremely modern fougere, guys. This is the most modern, youthful fougere I've ever got my nose on. So obviously if you are older, you could definitely wear this one. I think it's very versatile. High schoolers can wear B-612. If you're in college, you can also wear this. If you're 30 and up, definitely. It just suits pretty much everybody. I'm just saying, if you're expecting a mature, rugged fougere, this is not it. This is very sophisticated, very, very classy as well. As far as occasions go for B-612, honestly, I look at this as more of like dressed up kind of fragrance. It's not casual to my nose. Obviously, you can wear it casually, but it's more suited when you're dressing up, if you're going on a date maybe, if you're going to a wedding, if you're going to church, just something like that. You want to smell a little bit more classy, a little bit more well done. That is what B-612 is for. But of course, it is signature worthy as well. You can wear it whenever, with anything, whatever you're doing, but definitely more suited for dressing up and smelling classy. Now, as far as seasons go for B-612, it's very versatile in that aspect as well, where you can pretty much rock it in the spring, fall, winter, and summer. It just works for all 4 seasons, guys. So yeah, don't worry about that. This is not a summer fragrance. This is not a winter only fragrance. It's pretty much suited all year round. Maybe not the absolute best if it's like 100 degrees out, because it is an extrait de parfum and it's very potent, like I said. So it maybe could come across a little bit cloying, but since it does have, of course, the lavender, the cypress, and notes like that, musk, it does work all year round, guys. And this thing will definitely push through the winter months without a problem. Now, let's segment into the performance now, since we're talking about that. No complaints with B-612. This may be one of my strongest fougères within my collection, guys. And you wouldn't really expect that from how I described the fragrance being kind of fluffy, cloudy, comforting, warming, instead of like earthy, woody, and dark. No, but still, guys, Nishane knocked it out of the park with the performance of this. Now, I believe all from the house of Nishane are actually extrait de parfum, so they all are very, very concentrated. Honestly, I cannot wait to get my nose on others from the house after trying B-612 and what they actually did with this fragrance becoming very unique and extremely different than anything I've ever smelled. But the performance is definitely above average, almost nuclear. Only, I'm not saying it's nuclear because the projection is not the best like the longevity. The longevity just lasts and lasts and lasts. You do not have to reapply this. Now, the projection and the performance of that, now, it definitely does project like maybe an arm length away from you very, very nicely, but it doesn't project all that long. And that's usually what happens with extrait de parfums. If you didn't know, just as a tip, the more alcohol concentration actually usually leads to more projection. So like an eau de cologne would most of the time project more than extrait de parfum, even though it won't project as long, but it will just come off your skin very, very strong. Now, Nishane B-612, it does project, but you do get a heavy projection for maybe around 2 hours or so. Then it starts to settle down, even though when you walk by people, they will still smell you, but it will be a little bit closer to the skin all the way up until that around that 12-hour or so mark once it starts to disappear from your skin. But definitely above average, no complaints with B-612. So that's gonna wrap up my review of B-612. Let me know down below if you've actually tried this fragrance or any from the house of Nishane. And of course, if you did, let me know down below what fragrance I should try next from the house. I love hearing your guys' thoughts and stuff. But per usual, leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll catch all you guys in the next upload. Take care, everybody.